Hi everyone, this is Total War Therapy and today we're gonna try a new format, so let me know with a like if you want more videos like that. In short, every legendary dwarf lord will compete for the first place as the best fighter in this tournament. So don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy my video and let's begin. As you can see from the chart, we will start with 4 different matches, then there will be 2 semifinals and as last one final. At the end, the winner of the winners will fight against Thorgrim. There is not a big reason for that, just because we have 9 legendary lords and the tournament was working for 8. The first match will be between Malakai and Drazhoath. Malakai, that is more a missile and support legendary lord, and Drazhoath, that is both a melee monster and a spellcaster, so it's very powerful. I know that the fight may look a little unfair, but at the end I think that Malakai, unfortunately, even if he's a very lovely character, he would lose any fight against all the legendary lords in this list, both from Dwarfs and Chaos Dwarfs roster. Of course, Malakai is, will not have many chances to shoot his bullets because Cinder Breath is very fast, but yeah, we already can expect the result of this fight. Malakai doesn't even have the time to fight back the giant bull, and then you have to consider that in this moment Drazhoath is casting all his best spells on Malakai, so it's the double of the damage, the double of the power, but yeah. Probably in a different competition amongst missile units, missile legendary lords, Malakai would have a chance to win. The second fight is between Ungrim and Grombrindal. I mean, this is funny because they are very similar. I think that they have, stats very similar, but the animation are the same. I mean, they are definitely the same. In this case, Ungrim is a slayer and is specialized against monsters, against large units. But we will see if this will make the difference in the fight. Of course, we cannot expect something very... there will not be, of course, a big winner, of course, because the fight it's very fair. As you can see, it's like a synchronized dance because the animation are quite the same. They are very similar. They are just repeating them. See, it's very funny. These are 2 characters that are very lovely, and honestly, in the campaign, they are very different. Even if they look the same, they can really offer 2 very different experience. And yeah, my favorite in this case is Grombrindal because you can fight the Dark Elves and you can throw them away from Nagaron. But Ungrim, as you can see, the life points were so close, but at the end Ungrim is a Slayer, and the Slayer as a Noingar. The next fight is between Astragoth and Thorek. In this case, we have the 2 spell casters of the rosters, even if Thorek cannot be, it's not a spellcaster. So I think that in the melee, of course, Astragoth is more powerful because because it's a beast, and then it's a large. They are both large entities, but in the case of Thorek, is more altar that grants him with the defensive stats, and in the case of Astragoth, it gives him more power, more strength. Okay, so they are, of course, in this moment casting both the spells on each other. That's why you will see this aura of many things over them. Astragoth is definitely winning. We can expect why, not a big surprise on it, but we have to admit that Thorek is standing still. He is not giving up, showing that it's an actually very defensive and tanky unit, even if its main purpose is not to deal damage. And yeah, in any case, there are 2 lovely characters, and Thorek, I think it's even for free. I played just in Total War Warhammer 2, but it was very funny. Now we have the final match between Zhatan and Belegar. Even in this case, they are quite close, they are quite similar. They are 2 tanky legendary lords, and believe me, they are both, if you can see, more than 120 of armor, a lot of melee defense, both, and no armor piercing. Okay, and what happens if they have both no armor piercing damage and a lot of armor? That this fight will be long as the... Okay, I cannot find a joke for this moment, sorry, I'm doing everything very fast because tomorrow I have a wedding. But yes, this fight was very fast. I had to wait a lot to find out who would have been the winner, even because they have some different abilities they can use against each other. But yes, the funny thing to consider, and you will see the outcome at the end, is that Zhatan is more expensive than Belegar, okay? He's more expensive, but apparently, maybe, I'm waiting for the end, Belegar's is a little more powerful, even if it's less expensive. Okay, now at this point we have the two semifinals, the one with Drazhoath and the Slayer King, and the other between Astragoth and Belegar. So let's start. The first will be between Ungrim, as you want to call it, and Drazhoath, okay? This, of course, this is very particular because Ungrim is a slayer specialized against large monsters, and Drazhoath is a monster. So Ungrim should be, you know, the predator of Drazhoath. At the same time, Drazhoath is very powerful, as I said, both as a melee beast, huge beast, and as a spellcaster. So you will have this double power, and this can, you know, it can put Ungrim in a very difficult position. And it's funny because Ungrim is unbeatable in many different circumstances. I think especially in campaign. Maybe in multiplayer, or I mean if you use it in a skirmish battle to test the units, he doesn't show how powerful it is, because in the campaign it's indestructible. He will have a lot of spell resistance, so it's even immune to magic. And then he's a slayer, so the more damage you deal to him, and when it will be at the end of his life, it will be even more powerful. And this is crazy. I had a campaign with I think with Chaos Dwarfs when I had armies that they only had to care about Ungrim. Now we have the fight between Astragoth and Belegar. Astragoth is more both a spellcaster and we can say little monster, and Belegar is more a tank units. The problem here is that Astragoth is very armored and Belegar doesn't have the armor piercing damage. So we have to see if I mean amongst all the different abilities, a little of fortune, of luck, and I mean maybe the result can be a little different from what we expect. But yeah, Belegar already showed that we could be wrong with Zhatan, because as I said, Zhatan was more expensive, so I expected him to win, but it didn't happen. And yeah, at the same time, yeah, Astragoth has plenty of damage. It's a big damage dealer. It's just a train charging hit. It's very powerful. So, and it's jumping around, so yeah, this can put Belegar in a hard position. That still, with this tankiness, it's kind of surviving. But yeah, of course, having no armor piercing damage with this melee attack, this is a huge, very huge disadvantage. That's why it loses. Now we have the final between the two. Unexpectedly, you will decide between the two legendary lords from the Chaos Dwarfs roster, so there are no dwarfs anymore, and the two opponents will be Drazhoath and Astragoth. This is a very interesting match because they are both large units. So yeah, in this game, in this video, we proved that at the end, at some point, large units are always superior to the infantry, to the on-foot counterparts. And they're both spellcasters with a little different stats, but I mean, at the end, they are two damage dealer, and yeah, we will see what happens. We will win the huge giant flying bulls or the immortal wizard that now it's almost only stones. And in this moment, I just want to talk about how much I love Chaos Dwarfs. The first time I heard of them, I was like, it was at the beginning of Total War Warhammer 2, and everyone was hyped that at some point they would have arrived, but I was like, I mean, I don't even like dwarves because they were in a very bad state back in Total War Warhammer 2, but even Total War Warhammer 3, just before the Thrones of Decay DLC and all the, you know, the deep mechanics. They were very bad to play. So I say, why you want even the Chaos faction if the dwarves, the generic dwarves, are already bad themselves? But at the end, they proved to be the best faction in the game, and yeah, I just would like more variety. Now, as you can see, Drazhoath won, so he will finally fight against Thorgrim, the king of dwarf, the most powerful dwarf, maybe not in the combat necessarily, but in the campaign, of course. How many campaigns you played in Immortal Empires with Thorgrim gaining so much power, recruiting so many Thunderburges that it will get undestroyable, will conquer all the Badlands, and it's always a problem. Okay, but I had a funny campaign with Scarsnake after the release of Omens of Destruction, and it was so funny to play against him because it's so challenging, and yeah, it will just you know, turtling in his fortress, and you have to fight him a lot before managing to get his fortress. But at the end, it's very powerful even at the melee, because it's both as a support, so he performed better, of course, with all his troops around, but at the same time it's a huge damage dealer. And as you can see, even if Drazhoath had no problem destroying all the other legendary lords, with Thorgrim he's in difficulty. But at the end, Thorgrim loses, unfortunately. So we can prove now that Drazhoath is the best legendary lord dwarf of the game.